It's stayed overnight, so I don't know if we'll be long. Yes, I know.
We're protesting about the fact that female genital mutilation is very high on the agenda and male genital mutilation is almost completely ignored by the government, ignored by the laws of the country, which are just not enforced. And little children are being, on a daily basis, circumcised, males in enormous pain, and all we hear about really is female genital mutilation. Male genital mutilation just doesn't really exist.
Let's see the placards.
Yeah.
So it's got the Jewish case against circumcision on one side, and on the other it's the Muslim case against circumcision as well. So I guess what we're seeing that it's there is arguments being made by both religions against this practice.
I think that's right, and there are proportions of both of these religions which are beginning to voice their objections to it now on the basis that all children have the right to not be interfered with. I'm not really sure quite what else I can say about it. I think some of the difficulties are within the culture, particularly, are that little boys within Muslim culture, for example, that haven't been done are then, what's the word we can use, are then vilified by their friends that have been. So when they go into the showers with their other Muslim friends, then they stand out like a sore thumb. And so even little boys of sort of 5, 6, 7 that haven't been done then almost go back to their parents and start saying, well, I want to be done, please, so that I look like everybody else. It's almost part of the uniform, which makes me really rather sad that they're not able to see that all the rest of the world exists, or an awful lot of the rest of the world exists with foreskins as Mother Nature intended.
Right, okay.
And the other thing is just what purpose does the operation serve, really? There have been all of these claims that it's about cleanliness and about purity. I don't think any of those claims have been substantiated. And the damage done to a large proportion of the children is just untold. So personally, I was done as a child, and I would say that I never really understood anything different until I speak with friends that are up around in their 40s and 50s who were done for medical necessity, and then all of a sudden they begin to say that sex was really quite different with a foreskin for them than it was without a foreskin, going downhill in their terms. So I think the ignorance which comes about from those of us that were done doesn't really help the situation about what goes missing sometimes.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Cheers.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, circumcision is mutilation, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like dogs. Everybody's trying to encourage the dog to be mutilated.
Yeah.
To be castrated.
Right.
I mean, I prefer God's design.
Yeah.
So just leave everything alone. And all this mutilation's got to stop.
Okay, well, fair enough. Yeah, thank you.
I mean, you hear enough about the female version, don't you?
All the time.
Which is bad in itself.
It is. But all male genital mutilation is more injurious than almost all female genital mutilation. People are often shocked to hear that, because they care about females, basically. Society cares about females, it doesn't care about males.
Right, now hang on a second. Doesn't the female aspect stop females enjoying sex, whereas yours...
Well, it depends. There's 4 categories of FGM,
right.
and some subcategories, but I mean, there's this myth that feminists put out that FGM is done at the behest of men, and it's complete nonsense. Wherever it's carried out, it's performed by women at the behest of women.
Yeah, because it's a family tradition, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's simply ghastly, you know. But you know, in this country, the obsession is with FGM, and the criminal justice system will not bring prosecutions for MGM because they're concerned about upsetting the Jewish and Muslim lobbies. But it's still illegal. There's no religious or cultural exemptions from the law. They simply will not bring prosecutions. But the day is coming when they will.
Well, obviously, I love all religions, to be fair, and I can see aspects in all of them that I, can really sort of empathise with. But just on a physical sort of personal thing, I mean, I'm wincing at the thought of it.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine, and to be honest with you, I can't imagine being a mother and wanting to do that. I mean, in the same way that I wouldn't want to pierce my baby's ears.
No, indeed. Well, that's illegal. It'd be illegal to do that, but to chop this bit off a boy, it's still illegal. It's just no one takes it down notice.
Well, I think it's a good cause.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So this gentleman, I guess you're going to the conference.
Yes, I am.
And we're just talking about how none of the parties support men or boys, and we're actually campaigning here today on male genital mutilation, which is illegal.
Exactly.
But
illegal.
It's illegal. But under the 1861 Offences Against the Person Act, but no, the police will not bring prosecutions.
I didn't realise it was illegal. Obviously, it happened to Muslims and Jews.
It does, yes. And that's why they won't bring prosecutions. But there's no exemptions under English law for religion or culture. So it's just sheer cowardice, I guess.
Okay.
And a lack of concern for males.
It is. I mean, to be fair, we don't always prosecute when it happens to girls, but obviously it should be just as illegal and just as
there's a specific law, 1985 Female Circumcision Act, and there's only been one case, and that fell apart.
Yeah.
But the whole of the criminal justice system is trying to find FGM, and it's completely blind to MGM.
Yeah.
It literally doesn't care.
As a society, we don't seem to care in a way that we do about FGM.
Yeah.
FGM is a taboo. Male circumcision is not.
Yeah.
So, I mean, to be fair, it's not as drastic an operation, but even so.
Well, that's like, people believe that. That is not the case. All MGM is more injurious than almost all FGM.
Really?
Yeah. And because so many people believe this FGM thing, that they've heard the horror stories, the most extreme types of it.
Yeah.
But those are very rare. I mean, it's normally just a little nick on the clitoral hood or something, so far less damaging than male circumcision. Male circumcision takes away 90% of the nerve endings of the penis. So it drastically reduces men's pleasure during sex. That was the entire point of it.
I'm glad I never had that done.
So we, I've been trying to get this government and the previous one to go somewhere with this, but they just will not move.
Well, you got my support anyway.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Have a good conference.
This operation of circumcision for 8-day-old baby boys is unbelievably painful for the boy
and cruel.
In some cases, the boy dies. In other cases, there was one where the boy's lung ruptured after he was screaming so much.
Well, I tell you a little bit about what I mentioned before. My two sons, we made the decision to leave things as God birthed them, normal. I can't imagine a female genitalia operation at that age, but for some reason it's been accepted as normal for the young boys. My wife and I are adamantly opposed to it. And we encourage all of our friends or family and people who have a child that's coming to at least consider the options.
Yeah.
From a humane standpoint of the child who cannot speak for themselves at that time frame, and just the normal acceptance of that surgery, it's just a travesty. It's really sad.
Sure.
So here we are at the 2017 Conservative Party conference, the third year in a row that we're protesting against male genital mutilation. We're handing out huge numbers of leaflets, engaging with lots of people, and it's been a very successful day. I think we've had 8 or 9 people for since about 9 o'clock this morning. So it's going very well. No hostility from anybody. 1 or 2 people disagree with us, but in the main, very good engagement. And people who previously knew nothing about the horror and the crime of male genital mutilation are now a lot better informed.